positive life. You come from a place of love, but who gives to you and who believes you in this world of black and white? It doesn't matter. Plant the seed, let God
Good morning.
take over.
Welcome to the Take Your Life Back Today radio show. This is Ralf Friedrichs. I am an author, official recovery coach, and a life coach. This show is also combined with the YouTube version on the YouTube channel, Take Your Life Back Today show. I want to talk about is your state in the top 10 of overdose deaths in the country. The United States was established on the foundation of victory and revolutionary war. Since then, the country has had many iconic military victories to be proud of. However, one battle that the United States has been fighting longer than many people realize is the war on drugs. Drug abuse was declared public enemy number one in 1971 when President Richard Nixon implemented the Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act. That was in 1971. Some substance misuse has become perceived as American as apple pie and baseball. Each administration since Nixon has attempted to combat the substance problem that is afflicting the population during their term. Just when it seems as if the country is making progress, another type of drug is popular on the rise and is often worse than its predecessor. Illicit drugs and even legal ones have proven to be a challenge in the United States. And it seems that we can't overcome this. The war on drugs has become seen a never-ending conflict, resulting in countless casualties in overcrowded prisons. The number of overdose deaths from substance is on the rise yet again, and America must prepare for another battle. The top 10 states with the most overdose deaths. The overdose death rate is per 100,000 residents in the state, according to and it may surprise you. Your state on this list. Number 10 on the list is Maine. Overdose death rate at 28.7. At the top of the country is Maine. Known for may seem like a quite type of state. It's already calm type of state is ranked as having the 10th highest overdose rate in the United States according to the Health and Human Services. So it's 20.6% out of 100,000. In fact, alcohol misuse was the state's primary reason for the admissions into a rehab facility. Folks, think about this. Out of 100,000 people, 26.7 people. Much like the rest of the country, Maine is grappling with an opiate epidemic. The number of overdose deaths from heroin, morphine, and fentanyl nearly doubled from 2014 to 2015. Almost doubled. The number of overdose deaths from illicit drug use more than quadrupled. The city of Portland is in Cumberland County, the county with the highest number of overdose deaths in the state of Maine. Number 9 on my list is Rhode Island. Not too far away from Maine. Overdose deaths at 30.8%. Rhode Island is known for being the smallest state in the nation and has and is the home of the prestigious Ivy League institution Brown University. Even with such a rich historical background, the state could not escape being part of the top 10 states with the most overdose deaths in the country. According to the National Drug Intelligence Centers of Rhode Island, the assessment was taken and it showed 30%. Marijuana is the most commonly used substance, followed by club drugs like MDMA and oxycodone. Heroin, prescription opiates, and synthetic opiates remain a serious threat to the state of Rhode Island. Opiate misuse levels continue to rise due to the low cost of drugs like heroin compared to other illicit substances. Although heroin-related overdose deaths decreased for the state between 2014 and 16, the overdose deaths caused by synthetic opiates nearly doubled during that same time. Providence, Kent, and Washington counties were the top 3 states with the most overdose deaths. It is warm in here. Woo! Number 8 on my list is Delaware. Let me just open the door for a second. Oh, excuse me 1 second. Delaware is on the list, and it ranks up there at 39%. Delaware is the most often associated with being one of the 13 original colonies, and with being the first state to ratify the Constitution. Now the state known for being the second smallest state in the country, the host of an annual World Championship Pumpkin Chunkin competition, and home to Ryan Phillip, former Vice President Joe Biden, and even reggae icon Bob Marley for the short period of time. But what many people don't know is that Delaware is the top 8th state with the most overdose deaths in the United States. The most commonly used substance in the state include opiates, following the national trend. Followed closely by marijuana and heroin, the top 3 counties with the most overdose deaths in the state are Kent, Sussex, and Newcastle. The city of Wilmington, Newcastle County, is especially affected by prescription and synthetic opiate epidemic. Number 7, Massachusetts. You notice that they're all East Coast so far at 39.8%. Massachusetts was the second successful permanent English colony in the U.S. The state is known historically for being the site of Plymouth, the landing site of Mayflower, and the location of the first Thanksgiving. While the state has vast historical background, today Massachusetts, known for the Boston Red Sox, lobster rolls, Harvard, and its beautiful coastal communities like Martha's Vineyard and Cape Cod. With all the wealth of historical and cultural relevance that the state has, it may surprise some people to find that the state listed near the top of an overdose death list. At number 7, according to the CDC, Massachusetts has a drug overdose rate of 39.6%, taking the 7th spot on the list. The opiate overdose issue is quite prevalent in this state. 85% of drug overdoses between 2013 and 14 were due to heroin and fentanyl, while 8.3% of overdoses were a result of prescription opiate intake. Cocaine follows closely behind opiate as the most commonly used substance in Massachusetts, along with the top 3 counties in the state with the most overdose deaths were Middlesex, Worcester, and Essex, the 2 counties with the most overdose deaths. And Cambridge and Andover came at 4 and 5. Number 6 is Maryland, not too far away from Delaware. Overdose death rate there is at 39.8%. There's a lot you may not know about the state of Maryland. Jousting became the state's official sport in '62. The state's NFL team, the Baltimore Ravens, was named after Edgar Allan Poe's famous poem, The Raven, and the first dental school in the United States opened at the University of Maryland. Another relatively unknown fact is that the state of Maryland is just shy of being one of the top 5 states with the most overdose deaths in the country per 100,000 residents. The most commonly misused substance in Maryland are opiates, heroin, and cocaine. 89% of all overdose deaths in the state were opiate-related, with 70% increase between 15 and 16, quadrupling since 10. Following the trend of opiate epidemic, fentanyl-related overdoses have been on the rise since 13. Between 2007 and 2012, fentanyl was responsible for 29 overdose deaths per year. Since then, that number has increased to 38.9. Along with the top counties in the state, the most overdose deaths, Baltimore, Montgomery, and Anne Arundel, are the 2 cities with the most deaths due to overdoses. Germantown and Silver Springs are both Montgomery counties. Kentucky comes in 5. Friends, overdoses death rate at 40%. The Bluegrass State is famous for bourbon, fried chicken, and the Louisville Slugger. Kentucky is also the 5th state in the United States with the most overdose deaths. The home of the Kentucky Derby is now the home of people gambling with their life as well as on the horse track. It may surprise people to learn that the home of Elegant Kentucky Derby is in the top 10 list of states dealing with the most opiate and overdose situations. Opiates claim the top spot yet again in Kentucky as the most misused substance, followed closely by heroin and prescription painkillers. My friends, according to the 2016 overdose fatality report by the state's Justice and Public Safety Cabinet, Jefferson County had the most overdose deaths combined with the largest increase in overdose fatalities. Louisville was among the worst cities in the county for substance misuse and overdose deaths. Fentanyl was also involved in 47% of Kentucky's overdose deaths, either taken alone or combined with heroin. Heroin overdose deaths increased as well as any other time. 34% of overdose deaths were heroin-related, 2016, 28 in 2015. Number 4, Pennsylvania. East Coast again, overdose death at 41.9. Pennsylvania is another state that was one of the original 13 colonies and its full historical sites. Philadelphia is a major hub of historical significance. Due to the drug crisis, the state joined some of its fellow original 13 colonies in the top 10 states with the largest and most overdose deaths in the United States. At number 4, Pennsylvania has the 4th highest number of overdose deaths in the country, with a drug overdose death rate of 40.9%. In other words, 13 people died of drug-related overdose every day in 2016. The state's overdose rate was also 78% higher than the national average, contributing to opiate epidemic that's crippling the nation. Opiate, illicit or prescribed, were responsible for 85% of Pennsylvania's overdose deaths in 2016, according to the DEA analysis of overdose deaths in Pennsylvania. More than 95% of the counties in Pennsylvania reported fentanyl-related overdose deaths. From 2015 to 16, fentanyl overdose deaths increased 130%. Philadelphia County has the most drug overdose deaths. After fentanyl, heroin misuse resulted in 45% of overdose deaths, followed by benzo at 33% and cocaine at 27%. Prescription opioids were responsible for 25% of overdose deaths in the state. New Hampshire, number 3 overdose death rates at 42%. While New Hampshire might be proud of bringing home silver medal for downhill skiing in 1960 Olympics, thanks to the state native Penny Patel, the state likely isn't as proud of getting the bronze medal for coming in 3rd on our list of top 10 states with the most overdose deaths. New Hampshire's drug overdose death rate at 41.8%, surprisingly higher than its neighbor Massachusetts, which had a rate of 38%, which is mainly where New Hampshire's opiate supply comes from. Some experts say that the shocking numbers are the result of a lack of treatment available in the state. According to the New Hampshire Drug Monitoring Initiative, opiates and meth and cocaine misuse increased 28% from 16 to 17. Fentanyl and cocaine-related overdose deaths were among the highest in the state. Manchester, a city in Hillsborough County, is among the worst cities in New Hampshire. Folks, that is those are the top 8. At number 2 came Ohio, and then at number 1, number 1, stay tuned. Number 1 is, you guessed it, take a wild guess, Georgia. Folks, I hope you all have a great day today. May God bless you, and know this, sober today makes for a better tomorrow. And take good care. Take care. Bye-bye, and have a great